Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining our panel this afternoon. I hope everybody will find it helpful to hear from our students. Our group is all current student ambassadors here in the College of Education, and they're going to tell you about themselves in a minute. But I want to welcome you. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day. I know you're all getting ready to move, probably wrapping up your summer activities and a lot on your mind, but we thought that this was a great topic for you to hear more about online instruction and some of the tips and successes from some of our current students. While we're talking today, it's going to be very informal, and we are more than welcome to have you put any questions in the chat box. We'll either respond to them at the time, or we will respond to them at the end. We'll probably do most of the questions at the end. And those, you can ask questions about the courses, the online tips, or just questions about the major or anything else, and we'll all do our best to help answer. So I mentioned that I wanted to welcome you. I don't know if I did say my name is Kelly Apple. I'm Director of Enrollment and Transition here in College of Education. And you've probably seen communication from me in the past, but we're really excited to start the semester. And so we will just jump right in and hear from our students. So I'm going to mute myself and let them do some introductions.
I can go ahead and get us started. Hi guys, I'm Allison Isom. I am going to be a senior. I am a part of the middle level education program here. I'm from Oak Forest, Illinois. I'm involved in College Mentors for Kids on campus, and I love ISU. I wouldn't have wanted to be anywhere else, so I'm really glad that everyone here is just as passionate about ISU as I am.
I can go next. I am Sarah Grising. I am going to be a senior in the special education LBS program. I am from Arlington Heights, and this year I will be living at home for field-based and student teaching. So that's an exciting new chapter of my life.
Okay, my name is Julianna Hood. I'm also a senior special education student. I am in Bloomington Normal for field-based, so I'll be at Normal Community West High School. I'm from Lake Zurich, Illinois. I'm a student ambassador. I'm involved in a couple education clubs, so if anyone has questions about that, we can discuss that later. Yeah.
I'm Lexi DeCristofaro. I'm also a senior special ed student, LBS. I am living in McLean, Bloomington Normal this semester for field-based and for student teaching. I'm teaching at Oakland Elementary School. And I was also in a couple RSOs, which are like groups and stuff at ISU, so I can give some information about that as well.
Then I'm Drew Broadbeck. I'm from Canton, Illinois. I'm also a senior LBS 1 major. I'm also in McLean for field-based, so I'll be at Pepperidge Elementary in kindergarten with kids with significant disabilities. Again, we are also, all of us are in different RSOs, so if you have any questions about those, you can write them in the chat box or whatever. But yeah, we're all involved here at ISU, and we're all seniors. Most of us are SPED majors, and then Allison's middle level. So if anyone has questions, just ask away.
I also transferred in, so I transferred as a sophomore, so I can give some help about that too if anybody's transferring in.
All right, Lexi, do you want to just start us off and then jump around, but share some information about your experiences and any tips as well?
Okay, yeah. So my first year of college, I went to COD. It's a community college, and then I transferred in as a sophomore. When I transferred in, I lived at Cardinal Court, which is still considered on campus, but it is like more of an apartment type feel. I started my classes, they were awesome. My biggest advice with transferring in is to make sure that you kind of get involved and get to know everybody that you're around. Join RSOs so that you can get used to meeting people and being on campus. Walk around because the campus is beautiful and you can meet new people. In regards to classes, let's see. My biggest advice is have a planner and a calendar. That saves my life. And right now with field-based, I actually bought 2 separate planners, one for like my school and then one for like ISU stuff. And then I have a calendar too. And it just really helps you to stay organized and stuff. Make sure that you don't leave stuff for last minute. Like that is going to be the biggest burden on you. Try to make sure you plan out when you're going to get stuff done. And if you join clubs, like it's totally doable to take your classes and do clubs or go to the rec and work out. It's just, you have to make sure you're planning stuff, and that's going to help you a lot. An RSO I joined my sophomore year, which I did with Julianna and Andrew, was Autism Speaks. Autism Speaks was awesome. We kind of did a bunch of different stuff, went all over, but there's so many different RSOs like Best Buddies and other stuff, which I'm sure a lot of other people here can tell you about. And then I also was on the competitive dance team for a year, which was awesome. We got to travel and we danced on the football field a couple times for like homecoming and stuff like that, which was really cool. And yeah.
Okay, I can go next. Piggybacking off of what Lexi said about getting involved, I think it's really important, especially now, to like get outside, because it is so easy. Well, personally for me, it was so easy just to lay in bed all day and just chill as a freshman, because it's there's the workload is still there, but like it's just not as rigorous as like you go on. But it's just so easy to stay in bed, but get outside and do stuff. There's always something going outside. There's like volleyball courts and basketball courts, I believe, at every residence hall, at least a basketball court. But like walking, there's a Constitution Trail right through campus that you can take to downtown Bloomington, or go more like towards like northern Normal. It's beautiful. Yeah, so like get involved, like she said. But also another thing with like classes for me, especially with this synchronous and asynchronous learning. So asynchronous was hard for me because I like to get things done right away. Like, so it was released Monday. So should I explain asynchronous, synchronous learning? Do we know what that means? Okay. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but synchronous, and I believe, is when you have a scheduled class at this time and you do the class work. It's like a class just online, and so you can be broken out in groups or whatever, and then you can do your homework after. It's just a typical class except online. Asynchronous is when you are given like a module or a bunch of different assignments a week, and you complete those by a certain deadline, normally like by Friday or Saturday, and then it starts all over Monday. My biggest tip for that is to not wait last minute, because it's a lot normally, because it's 2 classes combined in 1 week. So you don't think it's a lot until you start doing it and you're like, oh my gosh, this is a lot of stuff. So I would say start early, but do not stress out about getting done all the same day, because it's just so much work and it puts so much stress on you. Like I said, take a break, go outside, hang out with some friends, and like your dorm if you're able to, but do not stress about it. Also, your professors, speaking from my experience last semester, I had the best professors, constantly there emailing. We didn't have synchronous learning, we had asynchronous. So our class times, we met and we just talked about what was going on. We brought up like TikToks and just talked about our lives and Netflix shows. It was really awesome. I don't know if you're gonna have that same experience. However, take advantage of getting to know your professor. Emailing, I don't know how office hours or all that's gonna work with gen ed classes, but get to know them, or your TAs, because they're gonna be your biggest lifeline. And know the syllabus, like not so much word by word, but know like a concept, like, oh right, we have this project coming up, I need to start thinking about that, because if you can start thinking early, it's gonna be so much easier in the long run. So really like invest in your classes, but yeah, invest in yourself too, and don't get overworked. I think all of us, yeah, I know everyone on this panel, and we all have got overworked, and it's just, in the end, especially during all this, it's just not worth it. So take a breath and then move on. But that's my 2 cents.
Someone also asked about whether the decision to stay on campus this semester or not. I know as freshmen and sophomores, they encourage you to stay on campus. And I think that's actually just really helpful, because you get to be a part of, the community. It's ISU, everyone, it's, there's, I think, about 25,000 people here, but everyone knows everyone, which is crazy. You can't walk around on the quad without seeing someone that you know. So I really do suggest, now there's a lot going on, so it's going to look different, but if you can be on campus, I would suggest it. I know for seniors, a lot of seniors go home if they're doing student teaching and things like that. The middle level program here, you can go home for it if you're doing traditional, but I'm doing the PDS option, which is their professional development option. So that just means it's more local, and the teachers are more specialized. So I'm staying on campus for that. But I would highly recommend being on campus. ISU is very communal. It's very, you find your family pretty quickly. And even for this first semester, while we're still kind of figuring things out, I think it might even be in your better interest to be here, just because maybe even just if you're doing it for a semester, just because it might take the pressure off. Everyone's here, you can go to office hours, you could schedule that if you needed to. Again, I don't know how that's going to work. It's going to be a teacher by teacher thing. But I would try and get the experience here, because who knows, things might go all online again, in a couple of weeks, it might be completely shut down again. But I would really highly recommend being here just for a little bit if you can.
I think it's important to note that off-campus living is completely different than on-campus living. Personally, for me, like on campus, your roommates, you're friendly with them. Off campus, I don't know who my neighbors are whatsoever. And so building that friendship is really important the first few years. So if you're able to, I think being in the dorms, even amidst all this, I think it'd be beneficial to build friends if you don't already have some down there, because that's how you'll get a good friends going.
Also, no pressure. Don't feel like you have to. Let me just make that clear. Just because
you must live on campus. Do you hear
me? Safety is so important right now. So if you're not comfortable being on campus right now, that's totally understandable. But make the effort to get to know people in your classes and things, and be as present as possible. Just because it really is helpful, especially that first year. I would say even just the semester. It's really important to make those connections.
With any education major, no matter if you're sped or regular ed, if you form this type of community with all your classmates, and everybody I've met from my day one of my SED courses, which are my special ed classes, I still talk to them to this day. We help each other out, we collaborate. So it's such a big thing to get to know your professors and get to know your classmates, because when you're in special ed, you kind of travel together in a pack and you get to know each other, and you really become you form such a strong bond. So it really is important to get to know who you're going to be in the same major with. And to bounce off what Drew was saying, really get to know your professors. And if you need help, never feel afraid to email them. Don't email them the night before something is due. If you're struggling, really just reach out to them. And I don't know how office hours are going to work this semester, but if they offer office hours over Zoom, I really say go for it, because it has helped me so much, and I've grown so much just from going to office hours and talking to my professors. And sometimes it gets off topic, but you can really grow and learn from your professors, because all these professors have been in the field and they've been teachers, and they've been through what you're going through as students. So it's awesome to get to go spend time with your professors as much as you can.
One thing to piggyback off Alexi, I know for me this year, I've had to apply for different scholarships, and scholarship committees will look for a range of recommendations and stuff. And so getting to know your professors well, Lexi and I took, Julianna took this, but not with us, but a history class, and we got to know our professor. Well, you got to know Professor Kennedy well, yeah. And she sent me a letter wanting me to take more history classes, and that helped me then write about more stuff for scholarships and stuff. So being a well-rounded individual is so important, not just education classes, but history, whatever you're passionate in. I loved history, and so getting to know my history professor and learning more about her and what she taught, and it really helped me stay focused in the class, but also be more holistic as a student and human being. So if you want to look from an academic scholarship perspective, that's there too.
Somebody asked about places to go while doing your online learning. I don't personally know if the library is going to be open. Do any of you guys know that?
They are.
It is open?
I think they're open. It's weird hours, but I believe Milner and the Bone Student Center the Milner's library will still be open for some time. I don't know what those hours are. I can look that up really quick.
Yeah, they might be coming out soon with like information about all of that, but I think they've been up in the air in regards to the Bone. The Bone is like a building next to the library. They have like restaurants in there for people that don't know. But I think they said so far they're opening the library, but they're doing weird hours and some days it might be closed for cleaning or something like that. But I don't think they've come out with a for sure answer yet.
Oh, sorry, Drew.
I'll look it up right now while y'all are talking about their stuff so we can get some answers.
I was gonna recommend the quad is literally beautiful, especially like in this first couple of weeks when it's like not cold, when it is really nice out at school. I would definitely recommend. The dorms do get pretty like stuffy, kind of. You get a little claustrophobic, just a little bit, like if you're sitting in the dorm all day. So I definitely recommend. Drew mentioned Constitution Trail, like just going out and taking walks. And like you can super easily social distance with like any new friends you make outside, sit 6 feet away from each other, sitting outside and do your homework. You can meet friends. On ReggieNet, they have like, when you do your online classes, it'll say like students, so you can see who's in each of your classes. And then they have all the like emails. So I know it would be kind of weird to like send an email to your whole class and be like, hey, who wants to be friends? But if you know anyone in any of your classes, it would be super beneficial for you to meet up and kind of work together on stuff, especially just during this beginning portion when most of the classes are online.
A lot of professors too are going to give you time in breakout rooms to bounce ideas off of each other. And that was something that really helped me. Yes, you will be automatically added to your classes on ReggieNet. But those breakout rooms were something that really helped me because I would bounce ideas off of my fellow teacher candidates about like lesson plans or ideas for remote learning and stuff like that. So they are doing the best that they can to give you that in-person experience, even if it is online.
I wanted to explain real fast. We got a question about adding classes on ReggieNet, and you guys answered, but kind of realized that they might not understand how this all works. So how it works on ReggieNet is you will click on, there's like a section and it's classes. So you'll click on your classes and then it allows you to put your classes into your favorites. So then they'll be on top of your ReggieNet and they'll all kind of honestly just pop up. The first day of school is what, the 17th? Yeah, August 17th. So I would check maybe like the 15th or the 16th, just kind of go into your ReggieNet and you can look through. Some teachers put them up like a week before. You kind of just have to go through and look. And then I would recommend for sure going through the syllabus, writing any important dates down into your planner. Honestly, your teacher should send emails to telling you when the ReggieNet is open, so that should kind of help you. I would just definitely recommend that because it just makes everything easier to get more questions.
In your planner, though, I don't recommend using pen right away because I feel like things are going to change a lot this semester. I personally use Google Calendar and I have a different color for each class, and then I can like drag and drop things if the dates change. So that's something that works really well for me, and it's aesthetically pleasing, and I just feel super organized when I look at my Google Calendar.
Going back to the Bone and Milner hours, right now it says that all the floors are closed, but did anyone else, the panelists, did anyone else see that they would be open, or am I dreaming that?
No, I saw it was going to be open.
Yeah, I think it's going to be open. I just think it's abbreviated hours, and I don't know how it's going to be set up. Milner is humongous, and so you can find anywhere to sit, really. I don't know the protocol, but I swear I saw something about that. If Kelly or Molly know anything about that, I don't know if they would, but you can type it in or something. I don't know. Do you know anything about that, Kelly?
I'll pop in. I think it's planned to be open as well,
Yeah.
but we can do some follow-up. But just to expand a little bit on that, when people were talking about, you guys gave great ideas of getting out and some other things to do, but also for specific places to do coursework. There's a lot of little seating areas in Bone Student Center where you can work. There's a little plaza and seating area outside DeGarmo, as well as outside the State Farm Hall of Business, and also an indoor area with some seating. So I know that they'll have socially distanced guidelines in place, but I think all of those areas will be open to also potentially be sitting there working on course work or be online.
I was in the Bone a few weeks ago, and I think that mostly everything is staying open from like what I'm saying, because everything is pretty spread out in the Bone. Like if something was closed, I think they just like sectioned it off. But the bone's really nice. Also, if anyone's an honor student, the honors building has, if once you know where the honors building's at, they have a little perch that you can go sit in, and there's no one ever in there that you can take advantage of if you're an honor student. So it's small, but it's nice.
Someone asked a question, I don't know where it went, but it was about getting books, textbooks. I would wait until your professors reach out to you, because sometimes my Illinois State or RegNet will automatically say, like, for a course you need a textbook, but sometimes you don't and your professors don't want to. And if you're worried about all of that, you can even email your professors ahead of time and say, hey, I noticed it says I need to get this textbook. Do I need to get it? Just want to double check. You can buy your textbook, you can rent your textbook, and you can even buy or rent them used, which is always cheaper as well. Or they might have online options as well to have your textbook on your computer. But I would wait until at least the first week of class for your professor to for sure say that you need this textbook.
Someone asked a question about RegNet, I think.
Yeah.
Sure, Drew, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, it's really, I'd say it's user friendly. Would you guys say it's user friendly? Like, it's pretty easy to access it. Can I show them RegNet? Is there a way I can share my screen, Kelly or Molly, or one of us?
The green share screen button.
I just adjusted it, so it looks like you should be able to share your screen now, Drew.
Is my screen sharing?
Yeah.
Okay, so first I found this RegNet how-to. I'll type it into the box in a minute. But I'll go on to RegNet really quick, and I'll just show you. So you'll go to the sign in using central login. I just always type in RegNet, and then you sign in, maybe. And so my password's already saved, but you should have your ULID, which is the first letter of your first name, your first letter of your middle initial, and then 5 letters of your last name. So Andrew Broadbeck, and then you have a password, which you change, I think, every 6 months. So you guys should have that set up by now. Okay.
Your ULID's different for each person, though. Like, mine isn't what yours is. So you made your ULID. You guys should know what that is.
Perfect. So when you get into RegNet, you'll have a few options. You'll have, you can do this. This is what I do. So up here in the right-hand corner, you'll have little text boxes, and it'll give you all your classes. If there's nothing there yet, that just means your class isn't published. These are my spring classes, and then this is for SED advising. All SPED students should be added to that, I believe, sophomore year. But then when you star it, the star pops up and puts your class here. And so since I'm not using my spring classes anymore, I can just unstar all those. And then it'll take those away, and I'll just have my SED 392. But the first page, you'll have your overview, which this is a calendar if Illinois State chooses to publish anything on here. It's really not used quite a bit. Sometimes teachers use their class calendar. That's on the individual page. Profile, this isn't mandatory to set up, but like I had a picture, that's from freshman year. And then some teachers will want you to put a personal summary and some contact information. Membership, I really don't know much about. Oh, so it just says what classes I'm in right now, okay? Calendar, like I said, resources. Again, that's more of a personal class basis that we'll get into. Yeah, and then announcements, not really anything purposes. And then help, you can always go to. So we'll go to my class. So I'll click on my class. And so I'm in field-based, so this is my first class. So I'll give you an overview. And so if there's ever an announcement right here, where it says a whole new world awaits you, that's where your announcements will be posted. So you can always click on those, and then messages, which are the announcements, and then a forum. But I'll get to forum. Syllabus, again, the syllabus will be posted here. I don't have a syllabus there yet. Announcements, again, that was just on the overview page, but you click on it, and it's from your professor. Messages you can send to classmates, a professor, you can send in groups. I really don't use that feature a lot. I use more so email, but everyone else agreed they use their ILSTU and email more than RegNet. Shaking heads, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but sometimes professors prefer you to use messages.
Yeah. So probably a personal basis, like Lexi said. Just, again, it'll be in the syllabus probably. Grade book will be where all your grades are at. See, my stuff's already in here, like assignments. Resources, if they post something like something maybe for a project or something, it'll be here. And normally those are labeled really well, saying like what goes where, everything. But assignments, if you have assignments to turn in, you go here. Forum is like a discussion post. And so right now, I'll show them ours, Lexi and Juliana. We were told to like post about ourselves. And so Juliana's on here too, and then me and Lexi, but you will post those and like you can reply to them if professors want you to. I assume that's what they'll probably do for groups this year, a lot for grouping. But you just have to reply back. It's pretty user-friendly. I'll click on Lexi's. But yeah, so like Lexi's is here, and so you can read hers. There's a picture with it and then reply. But yeah, that's pretty self-explanatory. Set info, not really anything. Zoom Pro, you can access Zoom through here. I just always went through a class code. If everyone just downloads Zoom to their desktop, that's how, like, see, it's going to redirect me, so I'm not going to do that. But I just normally go through Zoom and like type in the code like on the actual app and then sign up if you have times. But ReggieNet's super user friendly. Does anyone else want to say anything about ReggieNet? And then you just different classes will be posted here.
If you have any issues with it, you can always go to Tech Zone and either go in person or call them and they'll help you work through your issues. Like I've had things where I've been locked out of my account because I waited too long to change my password or something like that. And then Tech Zone, which is in the Bone Center if you're on campus, but if you're not on campus, you can just Google like ILSTU Tech Zone and find their phone number. They are super helpful if you run into any issues, which you probably won't.
And they help like with computers too. Like sometimes you have to pay certain things, but most of the time it's just free services. They can like diagnose the issue and then figure it out. But it's really helpful. It's a free service, so take advantage of it. It's on the bottom. They moved to the bottom floor of the Bone. It's a really nice facility they have there now. So
something about ReggieNet is your teachers are gonna and I don't know like if for gen ed it might look a bit different, but I know a lot of teachers who don't like ReggieNet, and they'll have like their own class website. At least in the middle level program, I know there's a lot of teachers and professors who would prefer to use their own website. So, I mean, you can expect to use it, but it might look different teacher by teacher. You might have a teacher who everything is on ReggieNet, you're going to use it constantly. And then you might have a teacher who you check your grades on there and that's it. So don't be overwhelmed by it at first because, you know, you're going to, again, it is super user friendly, but it might change. You know, you might not be using it for one class as opposed to another where you're using it constantly.
Also with ReggieNet, it can be touchy in some senses. So like if you take quizzes on ReggieNet and stuff, like if you open other pages on your ReggieNet or on your like Internet Explorer or whatever, sometimes ReggieNet will lag or it'll like exit out of like whatever you're working on, or even with assignments. So you have to be careful with that. And you have to be careful with opening up multiple pages of ReggieNet because then it also can like lag really bad.
save often.
Somebody asked when you'll know if your classes are going to be synchronous or asynchronous, and I would just assume that's going to be in the syllabus, right? Or your professor will send an email. Yeah.
Well, and I can add to that. I think that when you look at your schedule, if it has an actual time listed by it, then it's going to be synchronous. Or if it says online with no time, then it's asynchronous. Or they may all show a time, and then the professor may decide and tell you at the beginning of class if you're ever going to meet during that time, or if it will just be self-paced each week. I'm going to add something while I'm on that I thought about, and I think this probably fits with your experiences. Typically, not many of the courses are the type where you can just get on and do anything for the entire semester at any point you want. Maybe some gen eds are like that, but in my experience, most of the courses are built more for a week at a time, or maybe 2 weeks at a time. And so kind of like Drew described, but you wouldn't have everything and be able to like complete the course in the month if you worked really hard. It's all paced out across the semester. But if you guys want to add to that.
I know there's one gen ed class. There's a music class that opens up for the entire semester. My girlfriend got it done in 7 weeks. I don't recommend doing that. It was a 16-week course. But but Kelly said most of them are paced out. So don't stress out about that. It's not, yeah, it's fine.
It's also possible that you could have a hybrid course where you only meet a few times throughout the semester and then the rest of the semester is whatever the professor wants. So just being really diligent with reading your syllabi and checking what it's going to be is going to help you guys succeed.
And your professors are here to help you. They're not out to get you or anything, especially in the education program. I'm going to speak for middle level. There's only about 50 of us in the program, so everybody knows everybody, and the teachers are amazing. They're so specialized. I would not want to be doing middle level at any other place other than ISU. And I know that a lot of people agree in terms of the other education majors as well. So ask questions to your professors, don't be afraid of them. And know too that we're all kind of in the same boat right now. So they might not have solid answers for you at first. And that's okay, because we're all kind of learning how to do this together. It's almost like we're all, kind of starting over. Everyone feels like a first year teacher right now, I think, is kind of a good way to look at it. So don't be anxious because of, you don't want to approach your professor or anything, because they really are here to help you.
Sarah, you one time in the spring were talking a little bit. Can you share with this group just what you said your experiences with your online classes were like, or give some examples, and anyone else can jump into, of like for a synchronous course, like how does that hour look, or what is that, how does that work?
Yeah, so like I said earlier, the professors do a really good job of getting you into breakout rooms. So you're not really sitting in the big group setting just being lectured at. They do a really good job of allowing for collaboration and participation. And then the professors will hop in and check in on you guys. So we did a lot of really cool online activities through Google Docs and stuff like that, where you would be in a small group working through something and actually getting the exploration that you would get in the classroom. It was definitely different and not ideal online, but it worked out really well for me. I was really happy with how I finished out the semester. And I think that the professors were such a strong support system for us. And like everybody's been saying, it is such unprecedented times. So they were stressed, they were overwhelmed, and they were still able to be there for their students, show up for us, and just be really a consistent force in our lives.
One thing that, Kelly,
Nope, go right ahead.
One thing that I would just recommend is during those classes that may be more lecture types online, I know like obviously the professors can't necessarily see you if you don't have to have your camera on. I would still definitely take notes. I found myself during like the first couple courses like wandering off. I'd go on my phone. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it'll be okay if I check my email real fast. And then I miss like 10 minutes of what the professor was saying. I would definitely still treat it like it's an in-person class. Like definitely still take notes, still make a Quizlet. Like it would make it so much easier. And I felt like at the end before the finals, because you'll still have finals and stuff, I was really stressed because I wasn't sure what was going to be on it. I missed a lot of because obviously we were new at this, and let's be honest, no one's a perfect student. Like I was doing other things sometimes. So I felt like it was super important to start to take notes, like still try to be organized. I made online study guides so I could like type and listen at the same time. That was definitely a suggestion that I have.
What did you mentioned Quizlet, in case everybody's not familiar with that, or what other tools did you use to create study guides or take notes online?
So I don't know if you guys know what Quizlet is. It's basically like flashcards online, so you can like type in your terms. I liked Quizlet because I could copy and paste from any of the resources that my teachers gave to us, so I didn't have to type out all of the new information. Like I didn't have to type out this long definition. I could copy and paste it. That's really all I used. I prefer writing my study guides because the writing helps me. Do you guys have any other suggestions?
I know something I did with some of my classmates is there's Kahoot as well, which is kind of harder to do by yourself because it's like more of a game. But if you're playing with like a bunch of classmates, you can do that to like quiz each other. And then there's also quizzes, which is another one, which I can type in the chat bar. And then Quizlet. And with Quizlet, the cool thing is you can search for other study guides that are already made, as well as make your own. So it's more better to make your own just because you never know who else is making this other Quizlet, and it could be all bad information. So sometimes it's better to make your own, but if you know the person that made the other Quizlet, it's a good thing to use. And then something else I did with my online classes is me and some of my classmates, we made a Google Doc and we each typed in our notes in there so we could share with each other and we can compare and contrast. So if we miss something, we can look back at our classmates' notes or study guides. And sometimes we did Zoom meetings with each other and we typed like study guides together just so we can like really like comprehend everything we need to know and get it all in one place and then share it with each other.
Someone asked about biology labs. I don't know. I know that my boyfriend is in the like biochem major, and those are the only times he's going to be going in person. But I think it's limited. I think it's only going to be like a handful of people. It's not going to be like the normal size for a lab, which is even condensed already. It's never your whole big lecture hall group. It's usually about 15 people. And I think they condense that even more, but you go, I'm sure you're going to have to wear a mask. I'm sure there's going to be socially distant practices. I know some places, I don't know if ISU did this last semester, but I know another school sent like little kits, like lab kits to their students, or like you would pay, you know, like $15 or something to get your like a lab kit with like samples and things that you would use for whatever purpose you would need. But, you know, I don't know off the top of my head. That's going to be, you know, a class by class thing. And I'm sure it's going to be something that's going to be outlined in the syllabus very clearly. If you're curious, you know, to asking your professor, again, they're here to help you. Reach out to them. And I'm sure that people are still figuring it out too. They might not even have the answer right now, you know, because again, things are so crazy. So asking questions is going to be a big part of this semester. You're going to have to, you know, ask a lot of questions. You're going to have to reiterate things for people. And, you know, it's not a bad thing because, you know, we all kind of need that extra support right now.
Should we show them where to look on the student service center to show them like what it would say so they have an idea? Because like there's so many different gen ed classes. Would that be beneficial, do you think, Kelly? You're muted right now. I can't hear you.
Whoops. Sure, if that's something you could pull up kind of quickly, or we can keep talking while you're doing that, yeah.
While
Sorry,
Drew is pulling that up.
Yeah.
Okay, while Drew's pulling that up, I was going to answer the social media question. I definitely think Facebook would be beneficial. That's all of my clubs. I'm in the so it's Kappa Delta Epsilon. It's an education fraternity. So you guys could all be in it. It's, I think, second semester freshmen, right, Drew, could go in it. So not first semester, you guys couldn't. But I would definitely recommend Facebook because all of the clubs I've been in have Facebook groups. Other than that, I mean, my clubs have Instagram, but it's not like necessary, at least in any of the ones I've been in. I don't know what you guys think. Okay, well, definitely Facebook, I would say. And then also, someone asked when you'll get the syllabus for each class. It should be on ReggieNet when the ReggieNet class opens. So as soon as you see your ReggieNet open, you can go, and Drew kind of showed the syllabus tab. It should be under there. If it's not, I would assume that your professor will email it to you. Mm-hmm. All professors like to do it differently. But seriously, the syllabus is so helpful. I would definitely download that, save that. I like to use on my Google Docs, I have like different folders for each class. And I put information so like the syllabus, important assignments, like especially now that we're all going to be online, I find that helps me organize. And whereas ReggieNet will go away, so like your first semester freshman classes, you'll only have them first semester freshman year, because then when you finish them, you don't need them anymore. So I always take like important assignments that I do. Like in some of your classes, I'm sure you'll do resumes, like just like basics and put them into like each folder for the class. So then I have it forever. I still have some from like my gen eds, and I can refer back to them if I ever need to. So I would recommend that as well.
I'll just jump in too and say some of the tips that you guys gave earlier and even throughout and through some of the written answers too are things that would apply whether a course was online or face-to-face. But some of the tips, especially about time management and kind of organization with the calendar and those things, I think that's even more important. Would you guys agree with online courses, because it can get so easy to get kind of confused across courses or feel like you don't need to schedule time out because you're not actually going to courses and things like that. So I think these guys have given a lot of examples about organization and time management that will really be necessary. You don't want to make the mistake of thinking because they're online, you don't need to use those kind of strategies this year.
Real quickly, sorry, before you go, Drew. One more thing I recommended, my freshman year roommate and I, we weren't super close. So I'm sure that's, I don't know, maybe something you guys are worried about. We weren't super close, but we still found a way to like work well together. We hung a big calendar on the wall. And if I knew I was going to be like studying for a class at this time, I would like kind of write it down, and she would write down her stuff too. And then we would kind of use that to like, oh, hey, maybe I shouldn't have friends over Friday at 1 because she's going to be studying for her test. Like that, especially for online learning, is kind of a good suggestion. Like you can write down like when you have a class, or like write down your class schedule, or write down when you think you'll be working on stuff, just so kind of like the respect aspect of it. Like I won't bring in, which you shouldn't be bringing anyone in because of social distancing, but you know what I mean? Just like I won't talk really loudly to my mom on the phone when my roommate's in class and like needs to be able to listen and focus, type of a thing. That's another suggestion that I did that worked out really well for me.
I know that when I was there, they had roommate contracts. And so it'd be actually really good to take time and think through that, especially now if you're gonna be in there a lot longer. My brother, he doesn't go to ISU, but this applies. He and his roommates like sat down, like figured out like stuff like Julianna was saying, and I think that was really beneficial to him. So that's good. I'll share my screen so I can show everyone the student center so you can see. So I just typed in my Illinois State to Google, and then again, it's the same info from Reginette. I won't go through all of it, but Student Service Center is what you're going to want to click on. And then maybe they've updated it, and so this is different than what I've seen. However, it's pretty easy. Like I'll just go to the oh shoot, where'd it go? Oh, I'll go to the classic one because this is what I know. And so that's at the very bottom of that. So right here, it should say things. So like all of my classes are online. And so it says online. However, if it was synchronous, it would say a time still. So that's, you want to look for that. And then, yeah. So does anyone have, I don't know what any really things, I don't really have looked at any of that. So what would it look like? Can someone add what that would look like if it was synchronous? Would it just say the time and like online? Is that what
I would go back to like when you first get on My Illinois State.
Okay.
First page, and you go to academics. So you would still have to go back more from when you logged on.
Okay, I'm just gonna read through it. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm not technology savvy. I'm just trying to be helpful and it's not working out. I'm sorry.
It's loading, it's just slow.
Okay, academics.
Okay, so then click on academics, and then when you go to your classes, then it might show more information.
Okay.
See how it usually says like, it says location arranged and then meeting time. When you close down for when you go down for your online classes, I think if there was a time that you were meeting, it would say additional meeting times, and then it would say the time.
Thanks, Drew.
Yeah, I think that's correct. Thank you, Drew.
I can't stop sharing. I'm sorry.
That's fine. Well, I want to do a couple things before we can run out of time. One of the things is that someone on the group asked, how many people are thinking of living on campus? I think she said she was in between. You guys gave your perspective, and of course, you're in a different situation, being juniors and seniors. But in general, I just thought it might be helpful. So for our participants, I'm going to release a poll and let you see the results. We have about 27 people on right now. And if you can respond, do you plan to be at ISU, on campus, off campus, stay at home, or you're not sure yet?
While we're waiting, Kelly, do you know if they can get the chat items after the Zoom? Someone asked that.
Ooh, that is a
all
good
the links
question.
put in the Zoom.
Ooh, that's a good question. I think there should be a way, especially since we're recording the presentation. So I'll be happy to send that information out or put it into a document that we send out. Because I know you guys have shared a lot of good resources as well. All right, so I will end the polling right now and share the results. And it looks like in this group, most people are still planning to live on campus. A few people are deciding, and one off campus and one at home. So just wanted that might make you feel a little better or help you in your decision making. So I think you can X out of that poll if it still shows to you. But I wanted to do that. And then I wanted to just react to just a few things I heard and we'll see if there's any other questions. Feel free to keep putting questions up there. Somebody asked, and it was answered, about how do you get involved with the education clubs? And they put links to know so you can reach out directly. But Molly from ISU, our in administration, she noted that we're going to have some special events the first and second week of campus. So be sure to watch your email and our social media because there'll be different organizations each day and they'll be distance so you can come out and learn more about signing up for them, learn more about what they are, or you can also visit them. There'll be some virtual options. So we definitely will still have ways to connect you with our student organizations. So just want to make sure everyone heard that. And then I also wanted to throw out in our remaining time, feel free to throw in chat that Molly and I are always looking for ways to get you guys involved this year and to connect you with other people in the major and the College of Ed, knowing that this year is a little bit unique. So if you have any ideas of things that you would like to participate in virtually, you would find meaningful or helpful, or other activities that could still be distanced that you would like to see us consider. So we're happy to take any input from chat about that as well. I think those were the main things I wanted to be sure to clarify, and we still have plenty of time if anyone has questions. Let's see what came up. Someone asked about where this will be recorded and viewed. I will send it out. It'll be a YouTube link that I can send out to all the participants after today. Somebody is asking about unified sports. Is anyone able to answer that?
I can talk a little bit about the sports. They have like actual like ISU sports that you have to like try out for and everything, which is like the ISU like official football team, official basketball team, and all of that stuff. But then they also have RSOs, which are the clubs. So they have like dance, every single sport you could ask for, or like art and music. They have clubs for that too. So if you don't want to be on like the official ISU team, you can still go play sports. And I think they have like open gyms and stuff like that. I don't know what those will look like this year, to be honest, because everything is so different. So I don't know if they're allowing those to happen, but there are sports that everybody can play, whether you want to try out for them or just join them.
Someone just asked in the thing. Yep, thank you, Lexi. Well, as RSO is a registered student organization, so it's most of the time run by students, and there's a plethora of them. On a normal year, there'd be Festival ISU where everyone would be set up on campus and like try to promote joining the club. I assume Festival ISU is not happening this year. Yeah.
Just maybe some virtual ways, but.
Yeah, but I believe Sarah sent a link in that the Dean of Students like involvement organizations, and that would be great. Check out. I'm sure there's a little blurb about what exactly each club is. And then you can decide from there. And I'm sure, like Kelly said, there'll be more information coming out from all those places soon. But did you want us to talk about our club experience, Kelly, like education, non-education, or
Yes, if you want to, real briefly. I'm just making sure there weren't any other questions. I just want to expand on the question about unified sports. So our attendee might have been talking about these unified sports that Special Olympics does. And if that's the case, I don't think there are any specifically at ISU, but typically there is a Special Olympics student organization, and there is the local schools and clubs have volunteers from the university involved. Again, if that's allowed this year, that's something where you could be involved. Yeah, Drew, any about RSO at all?
Sure, I can talk for a hot sec. So I'll leave College Mentors to Allison because that's her baby. Even though we were part of that together, but I'll leave that to Allison. But I was with Kelly was in charge of this one, but I was in Redbird Reads. It's a tutoring program for adults with Down syndrome. It's really fun. Normally, on normal circumstances, we'd meet Mondays from 6 to 7:30 in Milner on Milner 6, and we got paired up with one adult and another ISU student and tutored the student or adult, sorry, tutored the adults in whatever they wanted, really. Like sometimes there was parent recommendations, but I had a participant for the past 2 years, Peyton, who is my bestie for the restie, and he's just awesome, and you'll make great connections. Normally you would get changed up. There's special circumstances, but you get changed up, and it's really great. I've met great speech path students. I've met other sped students, and it's really a great way to get involved. It's kind of, I don't want to say practicing teaching skills, but it's a really great thinking what you learned from class and I could try this here to maybe help my student learn different coins. But you teach a plethora of skills. What I normally worked on was projects. From projects, you'll be astounded amount of different ideas they have. There's been fashion, food, travel, history, anything, and you just talk about them. And it's very chill. Most of the time, sometimes you're really helping them one-on-one, but I know a lot of the time people are just trying to get them to think. My big thing with Peyton was, how do I get this kid to think outside the box, and how do I get him to copy that on the page and not just have me do it for him, because I wanted him to do it independently. But it was really great. I know Kelly's, I don't know if I feel like you're looking for more people still, Kelly. No,
Nope, we're all full for fall.
We're all full, never mind. But,
maybe spring.
Maybe spring, but spring would be a great idea to check it out. It's really rewarding, and it's not a big time commitment at all. So Kelly would be the person to go to for that. I'll let someone else talk.
I'm fairly involved with Greek life on campus, so that's been a really cool experience for me. A lot of people choose to live in their fraternity or sorority house. You can hold executive positions through that. I was academics chair for my sorority, and it's been a really positive experience for me. So I will drop the link about fraternity and sorority recruitment if that's anything that you're at all interested in. And you can put into it as much as you want to get out of it. So you can just be a regular member who goes to the once a week meetings, or you can hold positions and really take on a bigger time commitment. So it's kind of what you make of it, which is awesome.
Kind of piggybacking off of Sarah, I did a service sorority. So it's different than the Greek life, the social sororities. It's basically just we met once a week. We did service work, we did service hours, but we still had social events. We still had a formal, we still had all sorts of different pajama nights, movie nights. It's just different. We don't have a house. Dues are quite a bit less expensive. So if that's something, I didn't do a social sorority because my parents were you have to pay. And I was ooh. So that's how I ended up in the service sorority. But I loved it. I met so many good friends. I'm sure this year it'll be online, but I would definitely recommend something like that as well. Whereas you want something that might look good on your resume too, as at some point. Also, we're all ambassadors. I don't think you can apply until sophomore year, but I would totally recommend it. I'm on a Zoom with Kelly Apple, and that's very important. Like if I was to get like a recommendation, I know all of the head of the special ed departments. Like it's a super good way to get connected, but also to help people and to do activities like these. And they're actually super fun. So that's something else I would recommend.
Yeah, also as a student ambassador, you learn so much from like your peers and you meet so many people. So it's like a really great way to meet people, but like it's also a great way to learn about different things on campus. Like just from going to ambassador events, I've learned so much from my peers and like from everybody else. So I definitely recommend it if you can do it.
My favorite thing about it, I think, is getting to like talk to new students, and just seeing what they feel, because I didn't really take advantage of like the Redbird days. I think I visited once, and then I started as a student, and so it's really cool for me to see like the students that are like really deciding like, ooh, do I want to go to ISU or do I want to go to like Bradley? And I'm like, oh, you want to go to ISU? Let me tell you why. And so if you get really passionate about ISU, being an ambassador or a tour guide is great for you, because you can just hype it up. To what you love about it. So that's what I like about it.
And you get this lovely unisex polo. That is my favorite part. I feel very official when I wear it.
I'm going to talk about College Mentors for Kids now. So College Mentors for Kids is an organization here on campus. It's a national organization, so there are 33 chapters across the United States. ISU is the third largest. What we do is we pair a college student with an elementary school student in the area. Usually they come from low-income schools. Usually there's no history of higher level education in the home. So what we do is we bring them to campus and give them experiences that a lot of them aren't going to have otherwise, or let them do things that they're not going to be able to do at school. We'll go visit the fire department, go visit, work with the service dogs, pretty much anything under the sun. And Drew is in it as well. I am the president. This is my third year as president. Highly recommend it. Please join. It's a great organization. This year it is all going to be online, and it's going to be different. You know, we really don't know kind of what it's going to look like, but we're going to do our best to pair the students with college students, because, you know, they look up to you guys, and a lot of them, it's their only experience with higher level education. So they really appreciate you guys. It's an excellent organization. It's 2 hours of your time. It's an hour and a half of your time once a week. And we're really flexible this year with your schedule because it's all online. So if you're looking for ways to get connected with the community, ways to meet good friends. I lived with someone who was in College Mentors last year. Like I met a lot of my friends from here, from the organization. So highly recommend it. It's awesome. Drew, do you have anything to say about College Mentors?
No, I really do love it also. That's how Allison and I were like got really close through College Mentors. But it's an awesome experience. I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's really great.
I'm gonna drop that link as well.
Sure. One thing I want to talk about that I don't know if anyone else, but like music. There's tons of music organizations on campus, and I was involved with men's choir, men's glee, or whatever. And you don't have to be a music major to do it. If you really enjoy singing, it's non-tryout. And there's a girls one as well. And there's tryouts. And like Sarah was saying, for Greek life, you put in as much as you want. If you want to make best friends out of it, you go to different events. You audition for different choirs. There's a cappella groups. There's bands, there's orchestras. You put into as much as you want. But if you really love music and don't want to give it up quite yet, like I did in high school or came to college, I'd highly recommend it. We've had cool experiences. We traveled to we sang with like a symphony in Bloomington and then in Springfield. And that was really cool. It was Beethoven's like seventh or something, a symphony. And so it was really cool. But like I know we've talked about like there's a vast array of activities, and you can always start your own activity if there's something not on campus that you want to get involved in, and you know people that want to do it. And you just have to look for it really. Like if you're really passionate about basket weaving, then you start that basket weaving club, you know, like, and you'll find other people do it. There's someone on campus with the 25,000 kids on campus, but yeah, there's other clubs and stuff. But
one last thing that I want to bring up is study abroad, which can be the coolest experience of your life. The College of Education actually has specific study abroad programs for them. So I did one of those. I also did one through the honors program. And there are just a lot of really unique, really nuanced opportunities for letting you explore the world. So yeah, shameless plug.
And when COVID is, we will have those back up and running. All right, we are out of time. If anybody has any last words, feel free. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap us up. Thanks to everybody for participating. A very, very big thank you to our panelists for taking the time out of their very busy summers and the last bit of their summer as well. But I think the chat we will definitely share out, as well as an entire link to the recording of this session if you're interested in that. And in my email, I'll even try to capture some of the tips that were shared today, because they were going fast, but there were a lot of different things that really are some great ideas for you. So I hope that you'll find that helpful. And we can't wait to see you in class, and most of you on campus, and have a good end of your summer. Take care, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Bye. See ya.
You guys are going to love ISU.